This is Jessica Maes, Infusionsoft Certified Consultant, and today I'm going to show you how to create a reconnection campaign in your Infusionsoft application. I'm going to head right into my application. I am logging in, and I know that's not a great use of my time, but it's important to me that you see how easy and how quickly you can pull this together. So that's why I'm logging in, because this is exactly the steps you would go through to create your reconnection campaign. I've just logged in. I've gone right to the campaign screen. You're probably on your dashboard. You're going to want to go into Campaign Builder through the marketing section of the application. We're going to add a campaign. I'm going to call this Reconnection Demo. You're going to want to call yours Reconnection Campaign. And I am going to go ahead and quickly bring you up to speed on what a reconnection campaign would be. Reconnection campaign is typically what we use when we have people in our database that we have lost touch with. And it just happens. I don't want to say all the time, but it's very, very common that we will build our list and we will have a strategy that will take us for a period of time, weeks, months, maybe even a year. And then very often business owners will lose touch with people that are in their database. And once that happens, Infusionsoft, when Infusionsoft talks about their interpretation of having permission to market to somebody, they feel that if it's been more than 3 months, you probably should do some sort of reconnection, get their permission again, verify that they want to continue hearing from you. So that is good incentive to stay in touch, because putting together a reconnection campaign, while you can do so quickly and easily, it is something that you really don't have to do if you simply stay in touch from the jump. And also keep in mind that when you do a reconnection campaign, you're going to a lot of people, hopefully, are going to click and stay engaged with you, but you are definitely going to lose people. So it's just best to not have to get to this point, but we all get there at least once. And so it's important to know that there are ways to deal with that. So having given that little background, from traffic sources, I'm simply going to pull out the icon for the existing list. And rather than pulling out a goal, we're typically trained to pull out a goal to start things off. I'm actually going to pull out a sequence. I'm going to show you why in just a moment. Actually, I'll just go for it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this sequence one reconnection email. Emphasis on one. A reconnection campaign is not a drip of 3 emails until they respond. We've fallen out of touch with these people. We give them one email, we give them a chance to say, yes, I'm interested in continuing to hear from you. And if we don't hear from them, we really have to cut our losses at that point. So I'm going to be kicking off this campaign with that email saying, hey, I'd like to keep in touch with you. You're going to need to come up with something that you want them to click in the email. So it could just be as simple as click here if you want to continue to hear from me. And then it would be a link that would say something like, yes, Jessica, I do want to continue to hear from you. I would actually come up with something that you can give them. So if you have an interview recording that you could share that you've not offered up before, if you have a new special report, if you have an ebook, if you had something, so basically going down the path of your lead gen campaign, something that people can get excited about and they will click and say, yes, send this to me, and then you can turn around and send it to them. That's what I would do. I think you're going to have a better conversion than on just asking people, would you like to continue hearing from me? So that's how I'm going to go ahead and set this up. So now I'm going to pull out a goal icon. And that goal icon is going to be link clicked. Clicked, yes, wants to receive info. And then I'm going to bring out a sequence that is going to be tag, because I tag everything, and you should too, email delivering what you offered. just delivering your offer. Keep it simple. Alrighty. The other thing I want to put in here, and I'll show you how this plays out in just a second. One reconnection email, delay, tag, or task to remove from database. Okay. So icons-wise, this is it for the reconnection campaign. Okay. Let's finish building this out. So we're going to kick this off by sending an email. You'll want to brand your email however you want. I am going to keep it pretty simple so that we can keep this moving. But in terms of the elements that I want to have in here for demo purposes, I'm going to bring up the email. Something like something for you. Okay, just going to this title. I'm not going to put a ton of copy in here, but enough to illustrate what you absolutely are going to want to do in a reconnection type of a thing. No, I'm not even going to merge in. I don't want to assume that you have everybody's first name. You might have just collected email addresses. Copy here. Of course, this would be copy that is in your voice and so forth. You would make your offer of what you would love to give them at this time because you've fallen out of touch and you kind of want to get them some additional information that would be beneficial for them. And I'm going to say, yes, Jessica, please send me your latest special report and continue to keep in touch. Okay, this is short and sweet. It's too short and sweet, but you get the point in terms of what we're putting together here. This link is important in making this all roll out. We're going to have this go to a thank you page. Okay. I'm going to edit the thank you page because I want it to be relevant to this particular email. Okay. So when people click and say, yes, I would like you to send me that and continue to stay in touch, this is going to pop up on their screen. So you see this is now turned into a link. Changes from draft to ready. Remember what I said, the email is going to need copy-wise, needs to be probably more compelling than what I've put in here, but this is for demo purposes. We're going to head back into the campaign. I'm going to put a timer in here and maybe make it, this is arbitrary, I'm just going to say 3 days. I am going to send myself a task. Now remember I wrote tag and or task. So it's however you're going to want to do it. Here's what's going on here. This is, we're sending the email, and if they don't take any action, we really have to presume that they don't want to receive our information and they don't want to stay in touch, because this is a reconnection email. So we've had a call to action that is asking them to do something to indicate they're still interested in hearing from us. If they don't take that action, you really should consider either making them inactive in your database at a minimum, or considering deleting them. Now, if you do have some history with these people, if they have bought from you in the past and so forth, I would say leave them in the database and then just turn their emails to inactive so that you don't have to worry about sending them some information and having them get upset down the road and opt out and potentially mark something as spam. So here I would send a task to myself. I'm going to say update, reconnection, no response, make inactive. And I'm going to go ahead and send this to myself. Okay, the sequence is now totally done. We also could decide to add some sort of tag that says they were non-responsive in the reconnect, or we could remove a bunch of tags if, say, we send out a newsletter or something and we're saying if we don't hear back from them, we're going to get all those tags off of there so they don't receive additional stuff from us. That's where you would put that in. Now remember, I made that one line in the email a link. That is what we're going to configure here in this goal icon. So those that, I don't see the check mark, but it did configure, so we're good. Those that do click the link, I will not get the task saying make them inactive. They will actually move forward in the campaign. I will tag them with whatever tag I want to come up with, saying, you know, clicked in the reconnection campaign, and then I have something that I can quickly see what people I sent out a reconnection to and what people said they wanted to continue to stay in touch. And then also, I've offered something additional, so this is the email that I would deliver that. Okay. I don't think this is going to let me make it ready if I don't put any new info in there. I'm just going to back out of here. Okay. Last thing you're going to need to do is, I shouldn't say last, so the next thing you would need to do is once you get everything configured, I acknowledge that I don't have the email in here, but you would want to definitely have that in there. You would go ahead and publish. And now not only is your reconnection campaign designed in terms of strategy, it is also implemented, and it is also live. I always put myself into my campaigns before I put others in. So at this point, what I would do is I would go to my record that I use to test with a lot. Oops, I went to the wrong search screen. Sorry about that. I rely on this search screen a lot, and every once in a while I wind up in my, my browser search screen on accident. So now I'm where I need to be. And this is how you would add everybody to your campaign, but I always recommend you add yourself first just to make sure it rolls out properly. Okay, so from the Actions tab, I can choose Start Stop a Campaign Sequence. I would find the campaign. Here it is, Reconnection Demo. And I have to tell the system if I want to go into there's two sequences set up in that campaign. So do I want to go into the first one, which is called One Reconnection Email, or do I want to go into the second one saying deliver the offer that you've made in your reconnection? So we know we want to go in here, and what I want to point out here is this is why it's really important to label those sequences using copy that you're going to understand, because if you decide to drop somebody in the campaign the way I'm doing right now, you want to make sure you get them into the right sequence. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and process the action. And that's just going to need a minute to update itself in the system. But while we're waiting, I'm going to head over to Campaign Builder. I'm going to go into that campaign. And you'll see right here there's somebody in the campaign, and that is me. So that email is it probably has already gone out the door and is sitting in my inbox. If I click, I will move forward, and I will receive what it is I've offered in my Reconnect email. If I sit here and I don't do anything, if I don't click the link basically, so even if I open the email, if I don't click the link, I will stay in this sequence. And in 3 days, I, as the user, will get a notification saying, make that contact inactive because there was no response in the reconnection campaign. So that is a reconnection campaign. This is really all you need to get it rolling. You need an email, keep it to 1. Have something that a call to action and involve a link clicked in that email. Listen for that link click in your campaign. If and when that happens, move them forward and give them whatever it is you offered to give them by them making their call to act or taking the call to action. Also have something built in so that if there is no response, you don't contact them any further, because hopefully you've made it very clear in your copy that this is something they have to do to be able to stay in touch with you at this point. So that is a reconnection campaign. It's very simple to build. It's very simple to implement. And it's not something that I would recommend you use as a crutch and, have to run reconnection campaigns every 3 months. Certainly you could, but that's not a really great best practice. But if you have a database with, part of your database has become stale, they haven't heard from you in a while, I highly, highly recommend that you put something very simple like this together and run it so that you can get those people that have already raised their hand at least once and said they want to be in your world, get them back into your world, and then stay in touch and get your life cycle marketing plan back rolling for everybody and get some sales converted and some referrals and all the stuff, the good stuff that comes with staying in touch with your list. So that is going to conclude creating a reconnection campaign in Infusionsoft.